In a sea of online dating apps, Olivia is drowning in possibilities. She wasn't after Prince Charming, she merely craved a Lord Farquaad with a wicked sense of humor on a stellar hair day. Tinder, the modern fairy godmother, presents Hunter. Tall, witty, with mischief dancing in his eyes beneath a mop of sun-bleached hair. With a swipe right, Olivia embarks on a roller coaster of dates that blend laughter, intimacy, and the heady charm of Hunter's favored vintage bourbon. Their connection, a whirlwind of emotion, came to an abrupt stop. Under the spell of the full moon, the enchantment shattered. Laughter turned to strained echoes as Hunter's gaze transformed into a feral predator's stare. Bourbon, once the elixir of their shared moments, gave way to a thirst for something primal and insatiable. On the moonlight picnic, banter twisted into predatory growls, and Hunter, stripped of his curated facade, emerged as a creature of the night. Fur erupted from his skin, and claws replaced fingernails. Olivia, trapped in a nightmare, faced not just a werewolf, but the embodiment of toxic masculinity. The alpha male she'd unknowingly embraced during their digital courtship now towered over her in a wild, monstrous form. In disbelief and utter shock, Olivia slowly stood up, continuing to keep eye contact with the now hunter-turned werewolf. Growls erupted from the wolf's mouth as it turned its head sharply up at her. Olivia started running for the trees as Olivia navigated the treacherous terrain. The excitement of their initial connection became a distant memory. Moonlight revealed the harsh reality of the horrifying struggle she found herself in, both against the beast and the societal pressures that had led her astray. As the moon hung low in the desolate night sky, Olivia's breaths quivered, echoing in the eerie silence. Desperation etched across her face, she stumbled upon a dilapidated cabin, a fragile refuge in the haunting wilderness. The door creaked with an agonizing groan, and she entered, seeking solace from the predatory growls that lingered outside. The air inside the cabin was thick with the stench of decay, and the feeble light from a flickering lantern cast long, menacing shadows on the decaying walls. Olivia's heart pounded in her ears as she desperately sought a place to hide, her eyes scanning the dimly lit room for any sign of safety. Just as she thought she might have found a brief respite, the distant howls of the werewolf pierced the ominous stillness. The growls outside intensified, surrounding the cabin like a malevolent chorus. Fear seized Olivia's senses, and every creak of the time-worn floor beneath her feet echoed like a sinister whisper of impending doom. Huddled in a corner, she strained to listen, terror gripping her soul. The growls morphed into guttural snarls, a symphony of menace that seemed to draw closer with each passing moment. Shadows danced on the walls, casting grotesque shapes that mirrored the monstrous reality she faced. The cabin, once a feeble sanctuary, now felt like a fragile cocoon, unable to shield her from the impending nightmare. Olivia's breath hitched as the growls crescendoed into a cacophony of primal fury, drowning out any semblance of hope. She clutched her chest, praying that the nightmarish horror would cease, and she would once again see the light of day. The haunting climax unfolded within the claustrophobic confines of the cabin, Olivia's fate hanging in the balance. The twist came not as a resolution, but as a plunge into the abyss of uncertainty. The moonlight waned, leaving Olivia ensnared in a chilling ambiguity, the cabin a tomb of terror, and the echoes of growls lingering in the darkness, a relentless reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the veneer of romantic illusions. As Olivia huddled in the decaying cabin, the relentless growls outside escalated. Fear clung to her like a vice. All of a sudden, intense slashes hit the floor of the werewolf's claws against the feeble wood, and her heart pounded in sync with the rhythm of impending doom. The air grew thick with tension, and the unbearable orchestration of destruction played out just beyond the frail barrier. With a bone-chilling howl, the werewolf unleashed its primal fury, shattering the door into splinters. Olivia's eyes widened with terror as the monstrous creature stood before her, towering and relentless. Its claws glinted in the dim light, promising an agonizing submission. The werewolf lunged, thrusting at Olivia with an intensity that sent shards of pain through her body. Each strike felt as if it could have killed her, and she could feel the hot, searing pain as the creature sought to extinguish the last flicker of hope within her. Summoning every ounce of strength, Olivia managed to break free, stumbling back into the desolate wilderness. The moon hung in the sky, a malevolent witness to her desperate escape. With every labored breath, she walked backward, the nightmarish ordeal haunting her every step. As the first hints of dawn painted the horizon, Olivia's heart raced with a glimmer of desperate hope. The werewolf, now on all fours, slowly advanced towards her, its eyes gleaming with feral determination. She collapsed to the ground, her body battered and broken, the cold earth beneath her a cruel refuge. The rising sun cast long shadows, and Olivia, resigned to her fate, could only lay there, vulnerable and defenseless. The werewolf's monstrous form, relenting to the approaching day, inched closer. In the final moments of the night, she clung to the hope that the sun would be her savior, casting away the darkness that had engulfed her in a night of unspeakable punishment. Just as the werewolf loomed over Olivia, its predatory gaze fixated on her weakened form, the first rays of dawn pierced the landscape around them. The werewolf howled, convulsed in pain, slowly transitioning back to his human form. The metamorphosis was a visceral spectacle, Hunter's features contorting with each passing moment. The snarls of the beast gave way to guttural human sounds, and Olivia, still lying on the ground, watched in both awe and trepidation as the monstrous visage dissolved. As the sun climbed above the horizon, its golden light bathing the scene, Hunter emerged from the shadows of the werewolf. The remnants of the night's terror etched across his face. The transformation back into humanity was complete, and in the cold light of day, Hunter looked at Olivia with haunted eyes. The silence that followed was heavy with the weight of their shared ordeal. She locked eyes with the man who had been both the charming illusion and the monstrous reality. There was a profound understanding at that moment, a recognition of the duality that had unfolded in the shadows of the moonlit night. Hunter, now stripped of the alpha masculinity that had manifested in the werewolf, seemed to grapple with the consequences of his actions. The rising sun cast a redemptive glow on the desolate landscape, a stark contrast to the horrors of the night. In the stillness of the dawn, Olivia found a resilience within herself. As Hunter's gaze met hers, the remorse and realization etched on his face, she slowly met his warm embrace with a brief moment of compassion. The story concluded not with vengeance or despair, but with a moment of profound transformation. Olivia, having faced the dual nature of both man and beast, the night of misery had left scars, but it had also revealed the strength that could emerge from the darkness. As Olivia walked away from the scene, the sun casting long shadows behind her, she carried not only the weight of the night, but the resilience to face a new day. The evening ended with the promise of a new beginning, based on the warmth of the rising sun. Then, without warning, Olivia felt a strange buzzing in her pocket. She pulled out her phone, and the bright screen lit up her face, with a new match notification from Tinder.